And if I can ask everyone on the line to please mute your microphones, it will help us with the quality of the presentation so that everyone can hear. So please mute your microphones. There will be opportunities to talk toward the end, but we want to get through the beginning of the presentation. My name is Michael Vassallo. I am the principal of Dunedin Highland Middle School, and I'm very excited today. And I actually, as I logged in, it was so exciting to see the faces of so many of the children who are there on the other side on teams participating with their parents. So welcome, children. This is always a very, very exciting event for us. And of course, under the circumstances, unfortunately, we are not able to have a face-to-face event. So, but we are here, and we would like to present to you the information that we have to share to help you get started in thinking about what middle school is going to look like for your fifth grader. And so I do want to recognize some of our team here. I have our assistant principals at Dunedin Middle School are Joanna Bernal and Diana Dolan and Janif Watson. And Mrs. Dolan is definitely here helping participate. So Ms. Dolan, if you want to turn your camera on and just say hi to the children and the parents, you can do so.
All right, my camera is on the little black box. For some reason, it isn't letting me use it this first time. But I am Ms. Dolan. I will be your assistant principal next year, guys. So I look forward to working with all of you. Ms. Bernal is also on the line with us.
Fantastic. Ms. Bernal, if you'd like to say hi.
Yeah, people up there now know what I did.
Hi, everybody. Looking forward to meeting you all next year.
All right. And so we're going to have a presentation. Again, please make sure that you mute your microphones on your end so that everyone can hear. And we are recording this presentation, so you'll be able to go back and hear anything that you might have missed. We'll make sure we post that on our website soon after the presentation. So at Dunedin Highland Middle School, just so that you know some of the players, you've met Mrs. Dolan. She is the sixth grade assistant principal. Our sixth grade counselor is Courtney Northcutt. Our sixth grade clerk is Nicole Herbert, and Ms. Herbert is going to be a great point of contact for parents. She is the person that you might call if your child forgets their lunch, or if you need to turn in an attendance note to say why your child was absent. She's a great resource. For the students that are in our Center for Gifted Studies, our magnet coordinator is Beth Taylor, and Ms. Bernal, who's on the call, is also involved in working with the Gifted Magnet as the assistant principal, in addition to being the seventh grade assistant principal for Dunedin Middle School. So, and I also believe we have Dr. Bergstrom on the call as well, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Bergstrom's here. She's one of our CGS teachers, and we might have some other teachers. Unfortunately, my view is not allowing me to see the participants list, so I'm not sure who else is here from Dunedin staff. But when we get into the Q&A, I know they will be there to help with the presentation. So welcome to all of our staff that are on the line with our future Highlanders and their parents.
And Ms. Northcutt is with us.
Great. So Ms. Northcutt, our guidance counselor, is also here. All right, so just to give you a sense of how our school is set up, I did mention the Center for Gifted Studies, which is a North County attendance area application program. Students that are in the Center for Gifted Studies are students that have been identified as gifted, and they are cohorted into classes with all gifted learners, as well as gifted certified instructors. The students that are not in our Center for Gifted Studies are in our STEAM Academy. And so the STEAM Academy is for the traditional students living in the Dunedin Highland Middle School zone. And STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. And so we have thematic presentations in the classroom that align with the elements of STEAM. Another important program at our school is also AVID, which I know a number of our elementary schools have at their sites, and we continue at the middle school level. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. We'll be talking about that a little bit more later on in the presentation, but there is an elective course available for our STEAM students as well as our Center for Gifted Studies students, and AVID learning strategies are used in all of our programs across the curriculum. I'm trying to advance my slide and it froze, and then it goes like 3 slides ahead. So let's try this again. All right, sorry if I made you all seasick there. At Dunedin Highland Middle School, I have our mission statement there, which our mission statement is to close the achievement gap and open new learning opportunities to ensure that all of our scholars are prepared for college and career success by providing a safe and respectful environment, inspiring excellence in educational practices and student achievement, and demonstrating pride in our school community. We boil down our mission statement to 3 words: respect, excellence, and pride, and that is the expectation of all of our Highlanders on campus. students. You will see it painted on the walls. You'll hear it in the morning announcements and on my weekly phone calls. And so it is definitely embedded in the culture of Dunedin Highland Middle School. That is our rep: respect, excellence, and pride. We have many reasons to get excited for the 2021-2022 school year. I didn't change that number there. We are looking ahead to next year. One of the things to get excited about is academy instruction. Whether your student is in STEAM, AVID, or in the gifted program, we have teams of amazing teachers that are working with our students. We have clubs and competitions. And one thing I want sixth graders to take away from my message tonight is that the students who are most successful in middle school are the students who get involved in middle school, whether it be a club, an art, or an athletics opportunity. And we have so many opportunities at Dunedin Highland Middle School, from our Odyssey of the Mind to our award-winning National History Day program that Dr. Bergstrom works with. In fact, we are sending, I think it was about 15 winners to the state National History Day. And every year since I've been at Dunedin Middle School, we have had students that have gone to the National History Day at the University of Maryland. We have past winners in Odyssey of the Mind, Mighty Moo, Science Olympiad, Stock Market Challenge, Future Cities. There are essay contests, art contests. We have an Interact Club, the Builders Club, the Principals Multicultural Committee, Girlfriends, 5,000 Role Models, and these are just a few. We have many opportunities, and I really encourage sixth graders to find ways to get involved in those clubs when they come on campus in the fall. As far as team sports, we compete in the 3 team sports that are available to all Pinellas County Schools students. That is volleyball in the fall, basketball in the winter, and track in the spring. And we have boys and girls teams in all 3 of those sports, and we compete against the other schools in northern Pinellas County. And then we have arts. Our programs are dedicated to the fine arts and music, including visual art, chorus, orchestra, Highland dance, and our award-winning pipe band. And then the last thing to be excited about is technology. At the elementary level, I know most of our 5th graders already have their one-to-one laptops. We are a one-to-one laptop for all 3 grade levels in middle school. In addition to that, our classrooms have smart boards and smart response systems. We have video recording technology and many other opportunities, including the ability to earn Microsoft Industry Certification. We also have an after-school STEM program. So there are many ways to get involved and be excited about coming to middle school, and we look forward to having you guys join us. Parents, I do want to highlight and just talk briefly about COVID-19 protocols. Of course, that is the reality right now in this current school year. As we move forward, we are not exactly sure what the protocols will be for the fall and what practices will be in place, but we are staying closely tuned to the advisements of the CDC, as well as the Pinellas Health Department and our own school board regarding changes to policies and procedures. It's very exciting right now that many of our teachers are receiving vaccinations, and it's exciting to know that that the rest of our community is going to be able to receive vaccinations in the near future. I think this is going to change the trajectory of things for the fall. We have a lot of different things in place this year for our school in order to keep students safe, and I'm very proud of the job that our staff and our students have done of staying safe and staying healthy for the most part. So we don't know exactly what is going to be called for. There's a lot of time before the fall, and I'm sure that there will be some changes to the way that we operate. And so what I'm going to tell you is that we will keep you abreast of any changes. We will communicate to you as we receive updates throughout the summer and make sure that you know what is coming our way as far as any changes to COVID-19 protocols and school safety. School safety is extremely important to us at Dunedin Middle School, and so we will keep you up to date on that. But as of right now, we don't have a lot of clear guidance to say exactly what school will look like. We're just going to continue to move forward with our practices, and we will adjust them as we are advised. As far as staying organized, that's one of the keys to middle school. Middle school, you move from having 1, maybe 2 teachers in elementary school for every grade level to moving on to having up to 7 teachers at the middle school level. And so it's very important to stay organized. At this point, we are still expecting that lockers will not be allowed for the coming school year. This year, they were not allowed due to COVID protocols. So students will need to be able to carry a backpack, and we particularly want them to carry one that has a space to protect their laptops, because they will be expected to carry their laptops to and from school and to and from each and every of their 7 classes so that they can stay engaged in the program. School supply lists will also come out during the summer. We had to change our school supply list from what was traditionally asked in the last summer because of all the COVID protocols. And so as things change, that will probably change our supply lists as well. So keep posted, but we are always very good about communicating with a lot of our local vendors, making sure that our school supply list is available besides being on our website, also at places like Office Depot and Walmart, where parents will go to shop for school supplies prior to the school year. As far as the one-to-one laptops, we are very excited to have the one-to-one laptops and let you know that your elementary school student will continue to have a one-to-one laptop. It will be a Dell 2-in-1 laptop, and they will have theirs when the school year starts. In a recent meeting, I learned that it seems that the current plan is to have fifth graders, which is you all, turn in the laptops that they are using to their elementary schools. And then when you arrive at Dunedin in the fall, then we will pass out one of our laptops to you, and you will keep it for all 3 grade levels at Dunedin Middle School. So that appears to be the current plan. Of course, all plans are subject to change during a pandemic, but we are hopeful that will be helpful to you as you think about the remainder of your school year and knowing that you will have a laptop when you arrive at Dunedin Middle School. As far as using the laptops, all of our teachers are very proficient in using Canvas, and I know many of our elementary schools are as well. And we expect Canvas to be continued to be used in the fall, regardless of whether we are in any type of simultaneous or online or face-to-face. All of those options are using Canvas right now at our school, and we continue to expect us to use Canvas, as well as other educational apps. We have an app called iExcel that we're using in all of our math classes to support math instruction. Students in reading are using iReady, and there are many other good educational apps that our teachers are using. And so we want all of our students to be able to access those 2-in-1 laptops and have them with them every day so that they can access the digital curriculum that's emerging and really doing some wonderful things to help our students with instruction. As far as dress code, that's another common question we get from parents. And so we want you to know that at Dunedin Middle School, we follow the Pinellas County Schools dress code policy. We don't have any type of modified dress code or uniform. Our students just follow the Pinellas County Schools dress code. And so we will make sure that this presentation is available both in the video format as well as our PowerPoint here. And you can click on that link to read the code of conduct to see what is expected of the dress code. But if your school is not a uniform school in elementary school, then you are already following the Pinellas County Schools dress code. And if you are a uniform school, it will give you a little bit more freedom with the way that you dress for school. As far as school hours and schedule, all middle schools run from 9:40 a.m. until 4:10 p.m. with breakfast beginning at 9:10 on our campus. Our school follows a 7-period day, which means students will have up to 7 teachers. They will have their 4 required courses of language arts, math, science, and social studies, as well as an elective course and a physical education course. Students who are below proficiency on their FSA test could be placed in a reading and or math intervention course to take up an additional spot. So we want parents and students to know that that is the outline of a 7-period day. Students have 30 minutes of lunch daily, and we have 4 minutes of passing time between classes. So as we look at what a day looks like at Dunedin Middle School, this is our bell schedule. And if you look at the far right-hand column, you'll see it says 6th grade at the top. That is our 6th grade schedule currently. So you can see our periods 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. And then lunch is after 4th period, and then 5, 6, 7. There usually from year to year are some tweaks in the times, so I don't want this set in stone for anyone, but it gives you an idea of how our periods run, the length of them, the time in between, and the placement of our lunches. And you can see that we work our lunches around so that our 7th, 8th grade, and 6th grade students have their own lunch times, and they rotate through the cafeteria. So this is what the bell schedule looks like this year. I'm not expecting you to memorize it right now because, as I said, it would be subject to change. And when we have this posted on our website, you can go back and look at this bell schedule so you have an idea of how the day will flow on a daily basis for your student with 7 periods a day. As far as school lunch and breakfast, we are a Title I school for the upcoming school year. So for all students, school lunch and school breakfast are free. Again, that is for all students. The school lunch and school breakfast are free. I do ask and implore parents that if you are a parent that would have free and reduced lunch, if you were not at a school that had free lunch, to please fill out the My School Apps application each year. We are a Title I school because of the number of parents that fill out that form and apply for free and reduced lunch. Our Title I status allows us to, our Title I status is based upon the number of parents and families that qualify for free and reduced lunch. And it brings in close to $200,000 of additional funding to our school to support the learning. So it is very important for us to keep the Title I program. We know that we have families that need the support of Title I, and we have students that need the support of Title I. Our school needs the support of Title I, and it can't continue unless our families and parents continue to demonstrate the need. So please make sure that you fill that out if you are a family that would typically need free or reduced lunch. PBIS is a program that we also run that's been very successful for us at Dunedin Middle School. It stands for Positive Behavior and Intervention Supports. What we use is an application, another reason for our students to have their laptops. It is in Clever. And so what the application does is allow students to earn points for positive behavior. And so with students earning points for positive behavior, they can cash those points in kind of like money, like a currency, at the end of each week for prizes, for snacks, for gift certificates to different places. We have lots of different rewards that are available to students, and they can pay for them with their PBS points. It is kept in an app, so the teacher will award the points in the app, and the students will get the points in the app and be able to track how many points they have and decide how they would like to spend them if they want to spend them at the end of the week. When we're talking about scheduling, and we're going to be getting to scheduling in a little bit to talk about the course requests for the 6th grade students, one thing that we do hear from parents about is the desire to waive PE to allow students to have an extra elective course. And so that is something I want parents to understand that process. A PE waiver is available only online. It used to be a paper form, but no, there are no longer hard copies. It is all filled out online. And there is a link that is there. It will be available when we post this PowerPoint on our website. And in fact, it already is on the front page of our website. This link is available, so you can go online and fill out a PE waiver. We will not waive your student's PE class unless you fill out this waiver. But again, some families would like their students to have additional elective options. And so we want to make sure that you know that that is available to you. And it is important to have that filled out in the spring because it will determine, right now in the spring, we are trying to make determinations of how many teachers we need to teach all of our subjects. And so if we have a large number of students decide to make PE waivers in the summertime, it will impact the number of PE teachers we need. And then we wouldn't be able to shift our teachers around. And so we might not be able to honor PE waivers. So we really want, if you do want to have a PE waiver, to do that at this time in the spring to make sure that your child has other opportunities. If your child wants the activity and wants the outdoors, we have a wonderful PE program with great teachers. And so we encourage you to go ahead and have your student enrolled in PE. But this is a question we get a lot of from our parents. So we want to make sure parents understand the process.
I just posted it in the chat as well, Mr. Vassallo.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Dolan. And so as far as communication, that is one thing that I take a great deal of pride in as the principal. In fact, I hear from families that go, oh, you're the voice that I always hear on my phone calls. And so you all are here, and I'm sure if you're here, you did get my phone call. If you didn't get my phone call prior to this meeting, I do encourage you to log into your portal as a parent and make sure you've updated your phone number and your email address. Because starting in July, I will begin to send weekly phone calls. I typically do it on Monday nights right at 6 o'clock. To give you a weekly update of things that are coming. So in the summer, the updates will start with things like our supply lists and any changes that we might have, updates to any COVID protocols and how school is going to be reopening. And then throughout the school year, I'm always giving you information about upcoming events and information that will help your student to be successful. I also send my phone calls out in an email. I type the entire transcript of every word that I'm saying in the phone call in the email. But the good thing about the email is that, first of all, you don't have to listen to my voice every Monday night. You can just let it go to your voicemail and delete it like my family does to me every night here. But the email also, I will include any links to any documents that I might be talking about, any links to our website or other websites or resources that I might be discussing. It'll all be right there in that email for you to be able to click on. So I do encourage you to make sure that your email address is updated in focus with the email that you check most regularly so that you get those weekly communications and can stay up to date. Additionally, other resources, our school website is something we really try to keep up to date. And so please check that out. Again, I'm referencing that this presentation will be posted on the school website. And so you'll be able to access it there after this presentation's over. Probably tomorrow we'll be able to get it up. We also have access to our teacher email addresses, your school administrator for 6th grade, the 6th grade counselor, the 6th grade clerk. Those will all be available on our website, so you'll be able to click and email them directly. Our school phone number is listed, and then I also encourage you to follow us on our various social media platforms. We do have a Twitter account in addition to a Facebook account. Our PTA also has a Facebook account, and for those of you that are interested in our band program, the Band Boosters have their own Facebook page in which they push out information about the band program. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch gears to Ms. Dolan, and I believe Ms. Northcutt is also there to talk about the 6th grade course selection process and what you may have already seen or what you may need to do moving forward. So Ms. Dolan, Ms. Northcutt, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, so what you see in front of you is the top half of the course selection sheet for our 6th graders. All of our 6th graders received course selection sheets from their elementary schools and went through the process of filling these out. However, if for some reason they did not fill it out or you did not get a chance to look it over with them, you can download a version of this from our school website. And directions are also there for how to return it. I'm also going to, before this is done, I will go ahead and put a link in there in case you just want to fill out the online version of the form, which just has the electives on it. So for the course selection sheet, if you're filling out the paper or you were given a paper and haven't yet filled it out because you were waiting for this part of the presentation, the highlighted areas are the only parts of the entire course sheet we want you to fill out. Everything else is determined based on FSA scores, MAP scores, things of that nature determine placement in the core courses. We have tests for ESOL and for FSA and for reading. So the first part, just making sure that we have our student's name, we have our parent's name, we have a telephone number and an email address in case we have any questions or we want to send you something back. That's why we ask for that top part to be filled out. Now, the bottom part is really where the interesting part is. That's the part our kids are really excited for. That's the area where they get to pick their electives. It does have that required elective, which is the physical education. If you do not fill out that waiver for PE, you are automatically put into a PE course. It's a state of Florida law that we have the kids in PE unless we get that waiver saying that they are doing activities outside of school that are keeping them active, and we don't need to provide that opportunity to them on campus. Otherwise, they'll be placed in the PE class. As far as the rest of their electives go, we do have a CGS only elective, which is the advanced academics course that is specifically literature. All CGS students do also take the advanced academics. That's the gifted course. That's the geography and individuality piece. But they have an option of a literature specific course. It pairs really well with the language arts course. It's very literature heavy. And when we break out into our Q&A sessions towards the end, you'll get an opportunity to hear more about that specific elective. The rest of our electives are available to every single student on campus. And one of those is the wheel. So the elective wheel, we call it career research and decision making. Basically, students go through 3 different 6 weeks sections. It gives them an opportunity to get a taste of some of the different elective opportunities that they have on our campus. They get a 6-week course of visual arts, a 6-week course of of our tech class, and a 6-week course of our chorus class in no particular order. So once they go through those 3 different 6-week sections, they then choose which one of those 3 electives they would like to have for all of 2nd semester. A lot of our students find that they really like one of them, and then in 7th grade they continue on in that elective, and then they continue that into 8th grade. But for students who aren't sure what they really want to do, it's a great opportunity for them to get a feel for some of the different class options that they have. The other electives that we have orchestra, band, we have a drill and Scottish dance course, which is specific to Dunedin. It exists nowhere else in our county. The kids really like it. They do some flag work. They work with some private instructors that come and work with the kids on how to do some different Scottish dancing, and the drill is the flag piece. We also have a wonderful theater program here at Dunedin, and of course our AVID, which does require its own application. So when your child determines what electives they want, you've talked with them, you've helped them kind of pick ones that match their interests as well as their needs. You just pick the top 3. That's all we're asking you to do. The top 1, you just put a 1 next to. The next one, you put a 2 next to. And the reason we ask you to pick your top 3 is just so that if something happens, if you fill out that PE waiver, we already have in the system what extra elective to give our students. And then at the bottom, it's just a signature and it comes back to us. All of our 6th grade families, those would go to Miss Northcutt. She's your 6th grade guidance counselor who would receive those. And in just a moment, you'll see in the chat, I will put the link to the form if you just want to fill out the online version and get it to us that way if you have not had a chance to turn yours back into your elementary school. Back to you, Mr. V.
All right, yeah, and just to clarify, so we're really giving you 2 options on how to fill this out. You have the paper version, which you can take a picture of or scan and email to Mrs. Northcutt, our 6th grade counselor, or there will be a online form that Ms. Dolan's putting into the chat. You just simply click on that, and that will allow you to make your elective selections there as well. So you have 2 options, 2 ways to try to get us the information. And the key is just that we want to have the best information so we can make the right choices for your child as we continue to make our master schedule. It's a process that started in January and will run right up until school starts in August with us making adjustments to our master schedule, but it is quite a challenge to put together a schedule for a middle school, and Ms. Dolan does a great job with it.
That's the elementary ones. They got a purple one and a white one to take home and one to fill out and leave at the school.
All right. And so this will all be in the presentation when you come back around to our website if you want to look back at these slides. And just to talk a little bit more about the elective options for our students band and orchestra, we start our programs and allow students that have 0 experience to students that have some experience to come in. So in band 1 and in orchestra 1, there will be a little bit about learning what instrument you would like to play, but certainly there are lots of opportunities for advancement for students once they get into the program. Our band is extremely active in performing all over the community, particularly in the Dunedin area. They love to have our students perform at various community events. And so, and they also attend competitions. This year, we actually have 5 students who made the all-county band from Dunedin Middle School, and our director, Mr. Urban, is also the director for the all-county band. He'll be conducting the all-county band. So it's an outstanding program. In our orchestra, we had 2 students make all-county this year, and Mr. Butts is also going to be working with all-county as a conductor as well. So we have, not only do we have great students who are participating, but we have top-notch instructors in our music program. Chorus and the drill or Scottish dance are also available for students that are interested in performing, and students who are interested in singing would be wanting to move and look at our chorus as an option. Students that are interested in moving and dance can look at our Scottish drill and dance program. As you can see, they perform traditional Scottish dance, but they also do flag drill, and many times they will participate in parades. When we get back to normal, we'll have lots of parades, I'm sure, again in our community, and those students are always performing with the band if they are in that dance group. And then AVID is another area that we have on our campus. AVID is a program that is looking to push students who are what we would consider in the academic middle. I think for so many years in Pinellas County schools, having been a student and being an educator in Pinellas County schools for most of my life, I can say the Pinellas County schools for a long time always had a lot of resources for students who were struggling and students who were at the top end and very talented academically, but didn't have a lot of programs for students that kind of fit in the academic middle. And AVID has come along in recent years and filled that gap. It is a program for students that show potential, that are students that maybe are going into an advanced class for the first time and need a class to support them and learn how to have study skills and strategies to be able to attack the higher level work in an advanced or honors class. And so AVID is for you. It's also a program in which we are looking for students that might be the first of their generation to go to college. It's a program that continues into high school and gives wonderful opportunities for students to advance themselves. The acronym, again, it was earlier in one of the earlier slides, stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And just so you know, AVID, as I said, continues through high school. You see at the bottom there, 96% of AVID high school graduates are college ready, and 96% of AVID high school students pass at least one college level course while they are in high school. And again, the students that we're looking at in AVID, they might not quite be a level 3. They might not be a level 4 or 5. And so we're looking for students that are in the middle academically that we can boost up and make them college ready, make them students that can pass a college level course in high school. And as a parent, I know it's hard to think of your 5th grader and college, but if you can save money as you prepare for college, then certainly that is something that I want to sign my child up for. And then the wheel is also available for our students. We call it a STEAM wheel because it gives you a little bit of areas, a little bit of access to all of our other areas. Chorus, art, tech are available on the wheel. Again, as Ms. Dolan described, the students will have a 6-week experience in each of those areas. And then for the second semester, they will choose their favorite and stay with it. And most of the students that select one for the second semester of 6th grade year usually stay with it for 7th and 8th grade. So this is where you would access our technology program and our visual art program as a 6th grader. And then as described also, our theater program started this year. It's been very challenging to do any type of arts in a pandemic. So we haven't had any theatrical productions of stage shows yet, but we have a wonderful teacher who started with us. She is actually working part-time at our school and part-time at Dunedin High, and is planning some collaborations for next year between the high school and the middle school to put on full-fledged productions, stage productions. So we want to offer it again in the fall, and the number of offerings we can offer will depend on the number of course requests and also meeting our scheduling requirements. So that is another option on the form. Another event that I want to give you a heads up to, we do not have specific dates yet, but we usually look toward the end of July for what we call Camp Highlander. It will be a half-day orientation for 6th graders. We usually offer it on 2 separate days so that parents have options of which day to send their student. It is a students-only event, but it will take students through what it would look like to be on our campus for a day, a campus tour, some typical things that 6th graders might experience, and show them how to get organized and give them some experiences on our campus before they actually come in. So we will have more information to follow. We will usually send that out. We'll put that everywhere. It'll be on our Facebook, on our webpage. It'll be on our marquee. It'll be on our phone call. I'll send out a smoke signal. We will put it out every way possible to make sure that you know about Camp Highlander, and we will have those dates before we depart for the end of the school year. And so we just really look forward to seeing your faces in August. And it gave me a lot of energy, like I said, to log in and see all of those 5th grade faces that were in the screens. I'm so happy to see you students, and we're looking forward to meeting you in the fall at Dunedin Highland Middle School. So I believe we're going to now possibly move into some breakout rooms. So Ms. Dolan, do you have that information?
So what I'd like to do, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and this will be for any families that are our Center for Gifted Studies families that wish to join a Q&A session specifically with CGS teachers. Our guidance counselor will be moving over there, and the assistant principal that is over CGS will be in there as well. So if you are going to be in our Center for Gifted Studies and are interested in a question and answer session specifically for Center for Gifted Studies, please use the link, the Zoom link that I just posted in the chat. Head over there and you can join our CGS team for a question and answer session, because a lot of the questions that you guys have are going to be a little bit different and specific to that program, and is not necessarily for all of our students. If you are not in the Center for Gifted Studies and you have questions, please stay with us here. Mr. Vassallo and I are going to remain here, and we'll be able to answer your questions about anything else that you guys have. So if you are STEAM students, stay with us. If you are CGS students at Center for Gifted Studies, please use that Zoom link. Ms. Bernal, Ms. Northcutt, Dr. Bergstrom will be moving over there with you. And for those of you that are sticking around, this is your time. Feel free to ask us any questions you'd like.
So I see one in the chat already, and the question is, it's scooting away from me because other questions are popping in there, is about the PE waiver, and is the PE waiver in place of an elective or in addition to it?
So the PE waiver opens up another spot in your schedule for an additional elective. Every student right now, every single student on our campus is currently enrolled in PE for next year. As those waivers start to come in and we go through, we will take out the PE class. And what we do with your electives is we rank them 1 to 3. And so it will end up being an additional elective spot that you have in your schedule.
And so, and there are a couple reasons why parents want to waive PE. I know this isn't the Center for Gifted Studies presentation, but in that program, they have a required elective that takes up an elective spot. So some of those students want another elective besides that gifted elective that they are required to take. Students that are in our traditional program, some of them may be required to take a reading course or a math course based on their FSA results. And so if students are typically performing at a level 1 or a level 2, instead of having an elective, they might have to take a reading course or they might have to take a math course. And so what they can do if they want to be in the band, then they can waive PE and then they can take band or chorus or art. So of course, FSA results are going to come in toward the end of the summer. We don't know exactly how all of that's going to work this year, but we do know that typically we do have students that are required to take that reading course or that math course. And so if they have that, if they are required to take that course, and they want to take something else like band or chorus, because to me that's much more exciting, then they will have to have that PE waiver in place.
I'm going to scoot over for a minute, make sure that the CGS meeting got started okay, and
Sure.
I'll be back in a moment.
When can we meet teachers for ISP students? So so for our special education students, I believe that's what you're referencing there. When they move to middle school, many of them that are in self-contained are called MMI. And so we do have a program that is cohorted for them. And we usually do our own night also for those families. And we will communicate directly to them to let them know if we will have a special meet the teacher night just for those students. And because they are in a self-contained environment, they'll have those teachers and families build a strong bond. We have a great team there. So we will make sure that we communicate that to you. Scooting down, CGS. The question was, what is CGA? But I think it's CGS, Center for Gifted Studies. And so those are students that are in our gifted application program. They did have to apply to be in it. And they are students that are in the gifted program already in elementary school. And so that is for the CGS program, Center for Gifted Studies. And thank you for slowing me down, because sometimes we do throw around those letters and parents don't always know what they mean. So if you are in the Center for Gifted Studies because you applied for it, again, scroll back up in the chat. There is a Zoom link that Ms. Dolan presented, and there's specific information about the Center for Gifted Studies in that Zoom meeting that is going on at this time. Are there counselors available? So Ms. Northcutt went over to the Center for Gifted Studies meeting, but I'm sure that we can ask her to come back to come over here and speak as well. We're probably going to be moving between some of these meetings together. All right, sorry, a notification popped up on my screen. Can a parent opt their student out of the reading class? And so right now, my understanding is that is not possible, that there is no waiver for reading class. If a student is required to take reading, then they will have to take the reading class. It is driven by a program called iReady, but there is not an option that I know of currently, and that was a change recently, that we don't have ways for students to waive the reading option. Will the new students have the chance to go to the school and get a feel for it and lay out before the first day of school? Is the next question in the chat. And yes, that would be that Camp Highlander opportunity in July. And so we will have that opportunity this year, because there was so much trepidation around COVID and what we would be doing to restart and what was safe and what was not. We were not able to have those orientation type events. But this year coming up this summer, we are planning to have a Camp Highlander in July. And with that, the students will get a tour of the campus and get to see where their classes will be. They might not get their schedule at Camp Highlander, but they will get a sense of the hallway that their classes will be in. Our students in 6th grade are all in one hallway. And so really, there are 17 classrooms on the bottom floor of Building 3. And literally, when you walk in the door, there's room 101, and then 102, and 103, and 104. And literally, students have to go no more than maybe 3 or 4 doors down to change class to class. So although it is a big campus, the students pretty much stay in one hallway when they are in 6th grade. So they will really get to know that hallway well. It has a restroom. It has an office where their counselor and their administrator are. They will have to leave that hallway to go out for the gym and for their elective class. But other than that, all of their classes are going to be basically within about 80 feet of one another. So they really won't have a lot of room to have to roam.
I am back, Mr. Vassallo.
Okay. And so someone had asked if there were issues with the Zoom link. I think that's what Ms. Dolan was just working on, and she has rejoined us. So if you were having trouble with the Zoom link, please scroll back up in the chat and try to access that again.
And I just reposted that one.
All right, so there it is. It's right there. So the Zoom meeting, again, is for the Center for Gifted Studies students. That is an application program for students that come to our school, and they have some different program requirements. So we didn't want to bog down this meeting by talking about those. We'd rather speak to our students that are not in the Center for Gifted Studies about their specific questions. The question is, do you have to waive PE in order to be in band? So that's a tricky question. So basically, every student that is at proficiency level on FSA, which means they have a 3, a 4, or a 5 in math or reading, those students are guaranteed that they will have to take 4 core classes: language arts, math, science, and social studies. They can take PE, and they would still have 2 electives left over. However, if a student has to take math and reading, then they lose their electives. They have their 4 cores in PE, and so they will have to waive PE in order to get a band class. So that would be when you would want to invoke the PE waiver if you want to be in band. But if you take PE and your student's at a proficiency level, then they will have no problem. They will be able to take band and PE. All right. A lot of the comments here are about the Zoom meeting so far. So go ahead, Ms. Dolan.
We forgot to add the PTA piece to our presentation. It was sent to me and I forgot to add it.
Aha. Well, we do want to encourage all parents to join the PTA when they come in. I think that's probably what that piece was. The PTA has been a very small but mighty group this year. We have about 10 dedicated parents who have been in there, and I think that's Ms. McClanahan who's joined us. Ms. McClanahan, would you like to do a brief commercial for PTA while we have you here on the spot?
You're muted, Ms. McClanahan.
Do we have a hard mute on where parents can't talk, Ms. Dolan? That's a different kind of mute that I see.
That was absolutely, yeah, I fixed it. I did that during your presentation. That's my fault.
Okay.
We were having a lot of extra noise.
Now you're good. We overrode you. Sorry. Go ahead, Mrs. McClanahan.
Yeah.
Ms. McClanahan works on our SAC and on our PTA and has been doing a great job working with our PTA. And so I want her to be able to give a quick commercial about PTA.
Okay. Yeah. Is Nina also on the call?
Here.
Okay, good. I am not on my computer right now. It's not working quite right. I think I'm competing with Fortnite for bandwidth, but yeah, we're a small but mighty group. We do a lot of stuff, like we do the end of the year awards for the students, and we do sponsor the planners for the students and a supply section in our school office for the teachers to grab supplies for their students if they need them, which has been very helpful this year when the students couldn't share supplies due to the pandemic. And we do a lot of other things, like we have the Reflections Art Contest. And so I just want to encourage everyone to join. It's a good way to meet other parents and to get tips about how the school works. So Nina, if you're able to, please put in the chat the mailing list sign up for the PTA, because unfortunately I don't have the ability to do that from my phone. That's all I have.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's there. Yeah, if you join the mailing list, we'll keep you informed as to what's going on. We're not doing a membership drive right yet, but you might as well stay in contact and stay in communication. And the other thing you may want to do is we have a 6th grade parents panel. It's a great place to get other parents' opinions and ask questions of other parents who have been there. And that's on Facebook. I'll post that as well.
All right, I just want to publicly thank those ladies for their contributions. I see some hands raised, and then if there is a hand raising function in Teams, so you don't have to hold your hand up. You can raise your hand digitally. I do want to get through some more of the chat questions. I'm gonna shoot one at you, Ms. Dolan, since you're on the line. It says, I got an email stating my child was selected for honors and advanced classes. Congratulations. Based on teacher recommendation and FSA score, will her schedule reflect that?
So the answer is yes, it will, with a caveat that what we're currently using are MAP scores and 2-year-old FSA scores. So we are due to have our current year FSA scores come in towards the end of July. So if you look at their course requests now for next year, if you change from 2020 to 2021 to the next school year, 2021 to 2022, you can actually go in and see what requests are currently in for your child. It's a great way to check whether or not their elective sheet went through. It's a great way to look at what classes they're currently scheduled to take, and kind of get a feel for where that is. But just be mindful that some of that may change based on the way that those FSA scores come in. So we will know for sure, hopefully the week before school starts, and I wish I could give you a quicker timeline, but they pushed back our FSA window, thereby pushing back when we get the results back, which pushes back when we can have those certainty answers for you.
All right. Another question is if they are in that group for learning levels 1 and 2 on the FSA, I'm presuming is what they mean there. Are they still able to take electives? And so that becomes tricky because if they're a 1 or 2 in math and reading, again, they may be required to take a remedial math course. And so that's why in that case, we would recommend the PE waiver to ensure that your child has an elective spot.
And we have 2 very patient people with their hands up. So if you would like to unmute, please feel free to do so, and we can answer your questions.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm parent, yay, of a middle schooler next year. But I just had a quick question about that. So because we don't know where they are for this school year until July, so we won't know if they'll need to take the extra math or reading class. My question is, at the end, when you do have that information available, will the students have the opportunity then? Will we be able to do the waiver if they have to take the other 2 classes?
So I'll jump in front of you, Ms. Dolan. I'm going to say maybe, because at that point, unfortunately, with the results coming so late, we are going to have our schedule mostly done. And so it really will depend on how many other families have selected PE or not PE, and whether or not there will be space in PE to make the switch or space in the elective to make the switch the other way. It'll really be space available to make a switch that late in the summer. That's why we really encourage families to try to make a decision at this point. We will try to entertain it, but it will be based on space available.
And then I see Miss Cassidy with her hand up.
Talk to account.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Cassidy. You have your hand up.
You don't. I already talked to a counselor at her school on her computer when she was doing schoolwork, and they pulled up that paper for her to select her electives because she's waiving PE because, for one thing, her leg and all. And do I have to fill it out still?
If you filled it out with the school or you filled out the online form, we have it. Or it's being sent to us from the school. So no, you do not need to fill it out a second time. I put the link in there in case you wanted to make sure that it was filled out, or if you had not yet had an opportunity to do so.
And she's going to be online. So there's no sense in her even doing that.
We actually do have students that are online participating in PE. We give them different opportunities of things. But it's, again, we make the PE waiver your choice. We don't try to, encourage you or discourage you in one direction.
Yeah, because when I was in Microsoft Teams, one of the people that, her name is Miss Nickerson. She's, at the Sandy Lane School. I don't know if you guys know her. But, she was pulling some kids in to fill out the bravery. So I selected my electives, but like I didn't know if I have to sign in for the PE waivery because like my leg, and I like didn't want to do anything or mess it up or anything like that.
Makes sense.
All right. We have some questions in the chat and some hands. So which way do you want to go, Ms. Dolan?
I think we had one more hand in the in here before the more chat questions came in. So I believe it was Xander.
If you do electives, how does that affect your like normal classes, or does it not affect your normal classes?
It does not affect your normal classes. You take your normal classes, and then some periods of the day, instead of going to normal with like your math, your science, your social studies, your language arts, you get to go to the class that you picked, whether it be the wheel or PE or band. So it's just another period in your day, because unlike in elementary school where you're with the same teacher for most of the day, in middle school you every 45 minutes to an hour you go out of that class and you go into another. So your electives are just another class you go into. All right, back to the chat questions.
All right. Question: what time do we go to school? So that is 9:40. 9:40 is first period starts.
Yes, we let students on campus at 9:25. We start having supervision at 9:10 in the morning, and then students come on campus at 9:25, and they need to be in their classes, in their seats, ready to learn at 9:40.
All right, next question. Is the school a safe place for LGBTQ plus students?
And I did go over that in the chat. I responded to that one. But we do have a very strong GSA here on campus. That's our Gay Straight Alliance. I have noticed our students are very comfortable with who they are and don't feel the need to hide that in any way. So I would say the answer to that question is a strong yes.
All right. When are forms due? We would like them as soon as possible. Do you have a due date, Ms. Dolan? Because you're the one who's ultimately going to be working with them.
Well, technically they're supposed to be due by tomorrow. So the sooner the better. It gives us a really good idea. We have to go into making all the schedules very soon. So in order to make everybody's schedule, we have to have those course requests in for all of our students. Otherwise, when we go to make your schedule, we're kind of guessing at what it is that you want. So if you want your schedule to reflect what you're interested in, I highly recommend getting those in as soon as possible. The form is really quick. It takes less than 5 minutes. So if you haven't done it yet, just click that link, get it into us so that we can make sure that the things that you're interested in are on your schedule for next year.
All right. Next question is when do we contact the school to find out if they need an extra math or reading course?
Again,
Oh, you already answered that for me.
Okay.
No
Very good. Very good. All right. Okay, someone's asking me to answer a question in the Zoom, but I'm not in the Zoom, so I'm not sure what that question is. All right, scrolling down. Parents panel. Explain about the dress code again. So the dress code is the Pinellas County Schools dress code. So that is outlined in the Pinellas County Schools Code of Conduct. It is, and there are stipulations to it, but it is not nearly as restrictive as certainly a uniform or any type of modified dress code. It has very minimal requirements. It has certain requirements for length and certain, but there's like, it's not like we have to wear a certain color or anything like that. I encourage you to look at the Code of Conduct, and there is a link to that in the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation. We'll put that on the website. Someone asked, how does electives affect your math or your science classes? So every student is going to have a different schedule. You have 7 classes, and so your elective will be one of your 7 classes, and you will have it that same period every day. So if you have band 6th period, then every day when we get to 6th period, you will go to band. And if you have math 3rd period, then every day you'll go to math 3rd period. And so your schedule will just be the same every single day. If a student doesn't get elective in 6th grade, will they be able to get it in 7th grade? And the answer is yes. There will be more opportunities later on.
Depending on that whole math and, well, in 7th grade, we don't have an intensive math class, so just an intensive reading. So the kids will have at least one elective in 7th.
Next question was, do you recommend waiving the PE if you think the child needs both reading and math? I don't want to make any recommendation. I really want you to think about your own child. Some children need physical activity and need that PE opportunity. That's really a decision for you and your child, but I want parents to understand the rules, because when we get to August, our options, as I stated, might be more limited. Once we have decided if we need 2 PE teachers or 3 PE teachers, there would be less opportunities for students to take PE, depending on how many students sign up for it.
The one thing I will say as far as that goes is that on that PE waiver, one of the questions on there is, does your child already participate in extracurricular activities that give them that exercise? Because the whole reason that it's a requirement in our state is that, students being up and moving and doing things is important to their overall health. So it's just a matter of, if you have your child involved in something, if if they walk to and from school and they are getting some activity and exercise, then that's how you can answer that question on the PE waiver. If your child does not do that much, and you think they need the physical activity, or they need to learn more about their health and well-being, PE covers a lot of those things. It's a great course to learn more about just how to be healthy. So those are just some things to think about when you're making that decision for your child.
I'm sorry, that was my question. So if I could just jump in here real quick. So I know you said they have the same schedule every day. So if they pick art or whatever the case may be and PE, then they're going to have PE 5 days a week, or are they like 2 days art and 3 days PE? Or
no, PE will be every single day. That will be its own period as well.
Okay, and then when to get that extra physical, after school activities, you mentioned like volleyball and basketball. When do they start?
So go ahead, Ms. Dolan.
That's okay. I'm sorry. Volleyball is our first sport of the year. It usually starts within the first few weeks of the school year. After volleyball season, then we have basketball season, which usually follows. Like, they finish up volleyball season. Sometimes they're still in their championships, depending on how well our team does, while basketball season is getting started. And then from basketball season, the same thing happens in the spring to track. So usually our sports run from about August to May, depending on how many and which ones and how much room there is on the team for our kiddos.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that PE waiver doesn't necessarily have to be like a sanctioned school sport either. If they go to Taekwondo, if they take dance lessons,
if they ride their bike
Little League soccer team, or if they just walk around the block every afternoon with you after school, you're, as the parent, you're just attesting that you're giving your student an opportunity for physical activity. All right.
Thank you.
Another question about the start of school. School starts at 9:40. Next question is there an open door policy on bullying, especially incoming 6th graders, Ms. Dolan?
Bullying is something we take very seriously at our school. We use the Say Something app, and I have a very open door policy in my office. I have students in and out of my office every day to talk about a variety of different things, sometimes because they feel like they are being mistreated by their classmates, sometimes because they have other things going on and they just need to talk about it, sometimes because they're in a they're very unhappy with somebody else and they want to talk it out before it becomes something more major. So we have an open door policy at our school as far as students can come in if they're having any type of issue, and we will do what we can to help our students in any way that we can. Their safety, if I was to make a list of all of the things that were important to me about being an assistant principal, I would say the safety of my students is at the very, very top of that list. It comes before, even in my opinion, their academics. I want them to feel safe and know that when they come on this campus, they do not have to worry. If they are experiencing bullying, we have a very clear-cut process that we follow. We do things like put safety plans in place for our kids that may involve making it very clear to another student that they're not allowed to have contact with each other. We have a Say No to Bullying course that our students who are found, that we find after a thorough investigation are actually engaging in bullying behavior, they have a class that they have to take and complete that teaches them all of the reasons why it's not acceptable and all the possible other consequences that they could experience if they continue to engage in that behavior. Because we want to take it from both sides. We want to protect the student who's experiencing the bullying, and on the other side of things, we want to make sure that the person that's doing it, who may be doing it because they think it's fun or funny without realizing the ramifications that it has on another student's feeling of well-being, they learn how, or they gain that empathy, they learn from that mistake, and they're less likely to repeat it. We're less likely to have more students that are impacted by that child's choices because they don't understand the depth of that decision.
And I'm going to add two things quickly on this topic before we leave it. One thing is that every morning on the morning announcements, I leave students with the message, if you have a conflict with one of your peers, to seek an adult. As 11-year-olds, they are not capable of solving all of their own problems. And so we want them to know that we have plenty of safe adults, the counselor, Ms. Dolan, other coaches on campus, myself. They can go to any adult, and they can also report anonymously through the Say Something app, but say something and let us know, because oftentimes these conflicts come up and we find out that it's been going on for a long time, but they've never told an adult who can help intervene. The second thing is, to parents, I strongly encourage you to make sure that you know what your child is doing if they have a cell phone, and know what types of social media apps they have access to. And in fact, I'll challenge you as a parent a little further to say that if your child has social media access, please understand there's a reason why social media is not allowed at a certain age, namely the age of 11. And so I'm sure that the phone that they have, they are not paying the bill on. I'm sure that you are the one paying the bill, so you should have the password to all of their social media accounts and be able to read anything that they're doing on there. Because I will tell you that, unfortunately, a lot of the things that we see are amped up by things that students are posting on Snapchat, on Instagram, on TikTok, on different social media apps. And the adults, including the parents and the school, don't have any idea what's going on, but there's a whole conversation taking place behind the scenes between the children, and we don't know about it until someone is possibly getting hurt. So we do want to make sure that you understand that as a parent, and that's something that all the children want. And I know as a parent, it's hard not to give them that, but if you do, really try to think about having control over that as a parent. The next question is about the dress code again. So here I've pulled a link to the Pinellas County Schools dress code. So I'm posting that link in the chat there, and you can click on that and read the dress code. It is there. And so there is nothing really specific about it. I don't want to pigeonhole you into buying certain color of clothes or shirts or anything like that. You can read the dress code and follow those guidelines.
And I want to just add to that, just to make it very clear as far as the dress code goes. You know, there are certain things that Pinellas County Schools do not allow, but we have students that come to campus that wear jeans and t-shirts every day. We have students that come to campus and wear dresses every day. We have kids that express themselves in the way that they dress, and we take no issue with that as long as they're following those guidelines in the code of conduct. So and that's why we say, you know, we're not really strict and tight. There's not a certain set of colors that they wear. Some of our girls are girly girls. Some of our boys like to dress like little skaters, and it's completely personal to the child, as long as it follows those dress codes, like no spaghetti straps, no short shorts, no tights as pants. They can be under your pants, but not as your pants, things like that. No midriffs, that sort of thing.
The next question is, do we have to know how to play the sport to get on the team?
No.
So,
no, especially volleyball.
Yeah, not a lot of students have experience playing volleyball prior to middle school. So there are certainly opportunities if you don't know how to play the sport. But the sports teams, they will be limited. You know, I will say, like for volleyball, typically they don't go more than maybe 15 or 20 students on the team. So there will be tryouts, and it will be limited, but it is a competitive volleyball team as well that competes against other schools. So just so that you know, that's how that process works.
But we do teach our kids how to play as part of the tryout process.
We sell shirts and sweaters for the schools for the kids to purchase, and the answer to that is yes. Typically at this event, we would have them on sale in the cafeteria for you to go by and buy. We will make sure that we have them available when we do Camp Highlander in the summer. All right, and then a question about what do we do in art? Art, it really encompasses all forms of visual art. And I know students have access to art in elementary school, I think on a weekly basis. So it'd be very similar to what you do in elementary school art, except you would get to do it every day. You get experience drawing, experience painting, and really amping up your ability working on things like perspective and shading and different elements of art that when you do it once a week, you don't have time to do, but when you're doing it every day, you certainly do have time to do.
And our art teacher is phenomenal, and a lot of his students win district and higher level competitions because of the work or the skills that they learn in his class.
I have a question.
Yes.
So
Yes.
In the chat, I asked, like, do we have to do dress code while we're doing online school? Or do we, like, I don't know.
So we just want to make sure that you are appropriate if you're online, that you're actually dressed, and that you're not in pajamas. But we don't follow any dress code for our online students. We don't really enforce that. I will say that we will keep you posted this summer about what the options will look like, whether or not they will continue offering MyPCS online, and what that will look like as we get closer to summer. That will be something that we will continue to learn about, and what options will be available for students.
Okay.
All right. Someone also asked what they do in music. So if you're in chorus, you're going to be singing. If you're in band, you're going to be playing an instrument. And if you're in orchestra, you're going to be playing a string instrument. And so that's really the difference between the three. You learn how to play music or sing music. You learn how to read the language of music. So that's all part of the music classes.
So the electives that I also chose when I was doing the wavery at the school that I'm particularly in, which is Sandy Lane, I picked the theater and orchestra and art. So like, what does theater do? Like, do you have to like dress up and act or anything like that?
So theater does focus on acting and performing scenes and monologues and memorizing dialogue. And then when they have performance, they will be dressing up. Yes.
And they also learn some of the backstage stuff, like building sets and that sort of thing, if you're more interested in that.
What's for theater online though? Like, if an online student picked the theater as their whatever you want to call it, do you have to like do the assignments for theater online?
Yes.
Or
And right now that class and almost all of our classes are simultaneous. So those students are learning with the students that are in the classroom and learning dialogue and working with each other. Okay. A question came in about PE, our students dressing out. So this year we are not allowed to use locker rooms as part of our COVID protocols, but in a typical year and hopefully next year, they will be dressing out. They ask all the students to have a white shirt and dark colored gym shorts to change into. And the expectation is that they will likely be dressing out every day for a PE class, because if they have PE every day, they'll go in the locker room, they will change into their gym clothes, and then they will participate in whatever the activity is for the day, and then they will go back in and they will change clothes for PE class again.
And yes, you will be writing essays.
Oh yes, you will be writing essays. Absolutely. Every grade level.
Classes.
Writing is very important. If you want to go to college, you're going to be doing reading and writing. So we're going to be preparing all of our students to do reading and writing. And that'll be a very important piece.
All right. Well, we are past our 7 o'clock time, Mr. Vassallo.
Okay.
It doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I really thank you guys for
Great to meet you
joining
all.
us this evening. And I'm sorry my video is not working. I promise I have it on. It is the very first time in Teams it hasn't worked for me. And I didn't want to log out and try to log back in because I wanted to be here for you guys. But you'll see my face a lot. I promise.
All right, everybody. Have a great evening.
bye. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.